with Tommy's Property Management. Property management the innovative way.
Your forecast for the region for the next few days. Today and tomorrow look fairly fine. Today, fine indeed. Southerlies turning northeasterly this evening. Tomorrow might get the odd shower in the morning, but again, mainly fine with light winds. The high today and tomorrow, 20 central. Thursday is where it starts to turn. Cloudy in the morning with rain in the afternoon and northerlies becoming fresh. Friday, more rain, becoming persistent with heavy falls, strong northerlies as well, and the rain continuing into Saturday too.
Live from the capital, Wellington Mornings with Nick Mills and Wellington Airport. Daily Qantas flights to Brisbane available now. News Talk ZB.
Just move on up toward your destination. Though you may find from time to time complication.
Welcome back. It's 7 minutes past 10. Special guest in the studio. Welcome, Wellington Mayor Tory Whanau.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, I'm good. Been a busy few weeks for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has.
How are you feeling?
I feel all right. Assuming we're going to talk about the Crown Observer first, we may as well get right into it. But
well, I'm just asking how you are. I was being a gentleman, saying, starting this conversation with how are you? Are you okay?
Really
You've been under immense amount of pressure, I know. So how are you?
Oh, I'm good. Yeah. What can I say?
Okay.
Yeah, things are all right.
Well, last time you were in, the mood of the council has completely changed a bit. Really, hasn't it? I mean, they've now realised that we've got an observer and he's been named, Lindsay McKenzie. We'll talk about him a little bit in a minute.
Yes.
And everyone in the council's saying, let's pull our heads in and behave ourselves. But are they really? Has anything really changed?
It's certainly gotten a lot better. I think when the minister decided or was contemplating government intervention, I think that kind of gave everyone a bit of a fright. And thought, okay, we actually have to work together. We need a successful LTP. A commissioner is the last thing that we want. So let's work together. There are always going to be, because these decisions are so hard and people are very passionate about their projects, which are at risk, with the LTP amendment, it's going to bring out emotions. There'll be debates. That'll never end. But I would say that there's been a lot more collaboration than previously.
But we did hear yesterday there was a bit of an incident, but we'll talk about that later as well. So obviously it hasn't gone completely, and obviously some issues.
And look, I want to say, because this comes up a lot, like the thing about Wellington City Council is that we are a very political city. We're the capital city. You know, we have the government right there. We have a lot of media that are based here. So we have a very heavy spotlight on us, and we're very political, passionate people.
Do you think we've got the spotlight on us because of you?
No.
You don't think so?
I mean, I haven't really thought about that, but...
I mean, you're a young wahine that's come in to a position of power and, I think there's a lot of attention on you.
I think... I do think when I first came in, it was quite exciting because, I was also the unknown candidate who won by a landslide. And that certainly brought a bit of attention to me, and that sort of continued. In terms of the why, I don't know.
Let's move on. Let's talk about the Observer. I want to go back to when it was first announced, because I got a bit of criticism on this show for saying it was a very dark day for the history of Wellington by our council having to get an observer put in place. What was your initial response when you got the call from Simeon Brown saying there was going to be an observer put in to keep an eye on you?
I wasn't surprised because we knew in the lead up to, while managing the entire long-term plan, so even in the lead up to it being signed off, I think it was May, we knew, officers had given advice then that actually if we don't pass this, if we don't meet our legislative requirements, government intervention is...
We know that, but I'm trying to get your initial feelings yourself.
Feelings.
A phone call comes and you know suddenly that everything that you stand for has changed.
Honestly, I felt like... How do I describe this?
Relief?
maybe a bit of, I wouldn't say relief, just kind of like acceptance that this was happening. Because I knew, because we had to go back out for consultation with the LTP, we now had an insurance risk that we couldn't cover. There was a lot of media attention around it, and so I was accepting of it, I would say.
When you first announced, and we did an interview on this show, that you were running as mayor, you wanted to bring the whole council together. You said it was divided under Andy Foster, and you said you were Miss Fix-It.
Yep.
You said, you were going to tidy this all up and you were going to bring a, united council together. It's got worse. Have you actually lost control of your council?
I wouldn't say I've lost control of my council. I would say this kind of robustness and a perception of dysfunction has been building for years, even before Andy's term, I would say. So I think, again, tying back to what I said before, when you're bringing a group of very diverse, passionate, loud people with media all around us together, it's we can work together, but unified is probably no longer the right word to use.
Have you lost control of your council?
I don't think I've lost control of my council. I think.
What would you do
as
differently?
robust as ever.
What, if you started again today, what would you have done differently? Would you have given any of the other side of the political barrier some positions of power?
No, because I decided I put people into those positions who I thought would best serve council based on their experience, based on our priorities, and based on who could work well with other people.
You had some very experienced people. Tim Brown.
Yep, and he's now
Diane
a chair.
Calvert.
He's a chair.
Now.
Yeah.
Wasn't originally.
Yeah, because he was new. So I didn't want to put new councillors into it. Yeah, but that's and so it was even more important for me to have more experienced people in those chair positions.
What would you do differently?
What would I do differently? I think anything I did differently, it would have the same outcome.
So you wouldn't, even though now we have an observer starting tomorrow, which we'll get to, you wouldn't change anything?
No, because everything that I have done is by the book. I've done everything with the best interests of Wellingtonians at heart. What we have are some people who relitigate decisions, who play politics, play political theatre, because that is the nature of Wellington City Council. I stick by my decisions. Okay.
Before the Observer was announced, you said you didn't need one. Do you still don't think you didn't need one?
I still think when you look at the bar for what is required for government intervention, I believe we still hadn't met that threshold. However, it's actually it is up to the minister. He announced one anyway, and I've just been like, okay, that's fine. And
so, do you stand by the fact that the government now have so little faith in your council that they had to put an observer in?
When I talk to the minister, he has never once said so little faith. It is never.
Okay, that's my terminology.
Yeah,
I mean the
right.
fact that we're the only council in New Zealand that has a Crown Observer.
That's not correct. So there's actually Hawke's Bay Regional Council have a Crown Manager, which is actually a step above.
Okay, sorry,
Wellington
I did
Council.
say I thought.
Yeah. So the conversations that I've had with the minister have been, very, very polite, positive, and it's very much with I spoke to him last night before he announced it, and he said, this observer is here to help you. This observer is here to ensure that you have a successful LTP, and that's great.
Have you spoken to Lindsay?
Over email, so we've done a bit of an intro, and we just
haven't spoken to him on a phone or call?
No, not yet. So we've only just swapped numbers, as of this morning. So, and I've got my EA to set up a meeting as soon as possible. He's just going through that whole onboarding stuff. He starts officially tomorrow, but I'm really looking forward to meeting with him.
Will he live in Wellington or will he commute?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know those details.
Okay.
I think that's more of a DIA question.
Do you know how much he's getting paid?
No.
But you're paying for it, or we're paying for it?
I don't know. Honestly, those sorts of details.
Well, we've been told by the minister that we haven't, your council,
there we
our
go.
rates have to pay for it. So you don't know how much we're paying?
No, not yet.
Okay. Have you deliberately kept a bit of a low profile since he's been announced? Because, you are a very high profile capital city mayor, and I'm not degrading that, but since this was all announced, we've not even heard from you.
Look, I take interviews as needed. You know, for me, it's really important. I think in the last year there have been a lot of distractions, which have been unfortunate, which actually, to your point earlier, may have kind of fed to the attention that council has had. I don't think that's really useful. So I'd rather just take media that focuses on Wellington City issues. There hasn't been a lot to say since the press conference that I gave a couple of weeks ago. We've essentially been in waiting mode for the Crown Observer. Now that's been announced, now we can move on.
If I ask you for one thing that's changed since the actual announcement, what does it mean for the council?
In terms of?
Anything that you think, I can say, that's really good now because of the announcement, or that's changed now because of the announcement?
I think, so what I would say is, and I know I came in and spoke to you a day after the airport sale failed. What I did immediately after that was aim to rebuild relationships, because that was a very difficult, emotional decision. We weren't on our best behaviour for that whole thing because it was so serious. And there was kind of a bit of anger on both sides. But the first thing I wanted to do, and especially after our interview, was rebuild those relationships, especially with the progressive councillors, and including our Green ones, and talk more to the other side as well. That has happened. There's a lot more talking. There's a lot more good faith.
Do you think that the council's getting on amongst themselves better?
I think so. Look,
I mean, that's taken a while for you to answer it. So obviously, it hasn't been a notable.
It'll never be perfect, is what I'd say, and that's due to the personalities that are in the room. You know, like when you disagree so fundamentally on things like values, policies, and or so forth, it's going to cause tension. It's going to be robust. We'll never be best friends, and that's probably something I was naive about when I first started as mayor.
Can you run a city?
Oh, absolutely. Because at the end of the day, it's democracy, and we have to work together. We have to incorporate different views. We have done that. I've certainly made a lot of concessions over the last couple of years in support of things I normally wouldn't. And we just have to move forward. I'm proposing that we make some budget cuts on cycleways, actually.
I know. It was. Okay, 19 minutes past 10. We'll take a short break and back with Wellington Mayor Tory Whanau. She will take your calls later in the show, in the hour. As I said, 19 minutes past 10.
Bring out the best in your timber decks, fences, furniture and weatherboards with Resene Wood Stains. Get the right advice at your Resene Colours shop.
Get your backyard sorted at Wellington's favourite online home improvement store, Trade Tested. And don't just take our word for it, there's over 50,000 reviews from happy Kiwis whose backyards have never looked better. Live the dream for less and make your backyard great at Trade Tested.
What will help your business now and into the future? For the right cloud strategy, robust connectivity and best-in-class cybersecurity services, talk to the technology experts at Cordia, because our future is all about you. Cordia.co.nz.
Gentlemen, is your performance in the bedroom letting you down? Here's some good news. Introducing Caruso's Erectomate. Caruso's Erectomate is a unique herbal and nutritional formula designed for men to support a healthy libido, stamina and sexual function. So gentlemen, if you'd like to support your performance and reignite the passion in the bedroom, try Caruso's Erectomate today. Caruso's Erectomate comes with a 100% money-back guarantee. Available only from Chemist Warehouse. Read the label and use as directed. Caruso's Health Sydney.
Kia ora, I'm Russell Spratt, General Manager Kai Whakahaere Mātua from Tribe Recruitment in Wellington. Tribe may be a new name for many Wellingtonians, although I've been operating in search and recruitment in the region for close to 2 decades. Tribe started with the belief that culture is key when hiring. We've expanded throughout Aotearoa, New Zealand, with 10 specialist recruitment teams. Now in Wellington, we'd like to provide the Tribe Recruitment experience to you and your organisation. Tribe Recruitment, your future tribe. tribegroup.com.
Join the New Zealand Symphony Orchestra for a cosmic journey that spans the entire universe. featuring hosts The Planets and superstar violinist Christian Tetzlaff performing Elgar's Violin Concerto. Friday 22nd of November at Wellington's Michael Fowler Centre. Tickets from $25. Book at nzherald.co.nz.
Eat.co.nz. Take a break from cooking because now you can jump online and order delicious Heat and Eat meals. The team at Eat create new menus every week. You just order the number of Heat and Eat meals you want by 11 a.m. and they're delivered to your door the next day. With no contracts or subscriptions, everyone's switching to delicious Heat and Eat meals delivered by Eat. See this week's new menu at eat.co.nz.
Eat.co.nz.
The All Blacks are halfway through the Northern Tour. Next, our men in black cross the Channel and head to Paris to face France. Listen to News Talk ZB from 9 a.m. Sunday for live commentary with our voice of rugby, Elliot Smith.
The All Blacks have a try!
The Northern Tour, All Blacks v France, from Stade de France in Paris, Sunday morning from 9 with Access Solutions on iHeartRadio and News Talk ZB, your home of sport.
Wellington Mayor Tory Whanau in the studio with us, joins us live, and you can watch it on the Herald's website if you want to, or YouTube, or wherever else you get your live screenings from. You can watch Tory and me and keep an eye on what we're doing and what we're saying. Let's talk about the Crown Observer. The name not many of us or any of us would have actually ever heard of before, Lindsay McKenzie. What do you know about him?
So the minister gave me a full rundown about him last night.
So you only found out about it last night, just before it was announced?
Yeah, which is, I would have expected that.
No, I would have expected you got a bit of information and a CV and a whole lot of stuff a few days ago.
No, I think, look, you'd have to talk to the minister about that, but I know he was a former CE of Tasman District Council and Gisborne District Council, and I know, which is what really interested me, he's an independent chair of an audit and risk committee, which I think is great because that's.
What are you expecting from him?
To observe and to, I think when it comes to the LTP process, he might provide some guidance on to ensure that we're meeting our legislative requirements. But
do you think he'll do things like go to the airport board meetings with you and stuff like that? Do you think it'll go to that?
No, I think the terms of reference are very limited to the LTP. So we go to all the workshops, all the meetings relating to this LTP, one-on-one meetings with me and councillors and officers, and I think that's.
So he's going to work Monday to Friday, the whole thing. It's going to be a full-time gig here. You don't know.
I don't know yet.
Okay. Do you think it's slightly concerning, as I do, that his experiences are very much provincial towns rather than big city like Wellington?
I mean, he has a long. He has a lengthy experience, which I think is useful.
But small town stuff. Compared to Wellington, Gisborne, Nelson, small town stuff.
That's quite a good point. I think, managing the capital city or observing the capital city.
Well, you said managing.
No, I know that was incorrect of me to say that. Observing the capital city would be quite different from observing.
I
think, sorry, I'll just finish.
Yep.
I think if he was a Crown manager, that might be more concerning. You'd want that more higher experience. But because he's just observing and reporting back to the minister, I think it's fine.
I'm kind of confused a little bit because you did say manage, so I'm confused. What is the actual job of an observer? So
he will be essentially observing the entire process, the entire LTP process, and reporting back to the minister. And look, if anything goes wrong, he would report that back to the minister, who would then decide if further intervention is needed. So he's not a decision maker. He's not there to tell us what to do, but he might provide some guidance on what is the administrative process of putting the LTP through.
Okay. You said you spoke to Simeon Brown last night, and he was, a nice guy to you. Basically said he's here to help you, everything. Did he say, hey, if this is not sorted out, I'm going to go further? Did he give you any just niceties? This is the guy. Niceties. This is going to be okay.
Yeah. He was.
How do you think the future's going to go? How do you think it's going to work?
I think. I have. Even though we've had to go back and amend the LTP, that is not unusual. Councils have done that all the time. They get less attention. I'm confident we can put through
councils that are as fractured as Wellington City Council.
Yeah, I think if you were to send in a journalist to every single council around New Zealand, you'd find similar problems to us. And that's the feedback we get. Well, this feedback I get from other mayors, Local Government New Zealand, and so forth. So we are not unique. We're just louder. So back to the LTP. I think we'll have a successful LTP for consultation. I genuinely believe that.
You've copped a bit of flack over this decision to appoint an observer because, you came in saying you were going to sort everything out, and obviously you haven't, and the council hasn't allowed you to do that. You are the one that always says you're only one person around the table. How much do you blame other councillors for what's gone on? Do you think they're just throwing you under the bus and they're fighting and carrying on, and you're actually having, because you're the front, you're the mayor, you have to take it?
I think there is certainly a higher level, of attention on me as the mayor, as any mayor. But I think as a collective, that's how I prefer to view things. Look, in a democratic way, they voted down the airport sale, and we've had to go to an LTP amendment. Am I disappointed? Yes, of course, because we signed off an LTP.
Do you think they threw you under the bus personally?
You'd have to ask them. I don't know.
Well, only you can tell whether you feel that you've been treated unfairly by your own council.
Then I would say no. I would say it's just political theatre.
Do they respect you? Do they respect you as a leader? Do they think she is a great leader and we're actually respectful of her?
Oh, I'm sure not all of them think that, but I have a great relationship with the majority of council.
Okay.
And that's okay. Do
you think Wellingtonians, can I just ask you this, because this is something back on my own personal feelings, do you think Wellingtonians who voted you in, no argument about it, are now feeling embarrassed because we have a clown observer?
No.
You don't think we're embarrassed as a city?
Well, that's certainly not the feedback that I'm getting.
Okay. What are we feeling then? The fact that we've got to have the government putting a person of there to keep an eye on us? And that's really what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, look, I think, I can only go by those who have emailed me, spoken to me. Some have felt it to be unfair, a government overreach, because we're a progressive council. That's the sort of stuff that I've been hearing. That's not necessarily what I agree with.
Yeah.
But again,
do you think it is? Do you actually think it is because you are a progressive, green, based council that you're getting picked on by the government?
No, because in my conversations with the minister, again, they've been very constructive and polite. I don't.
Well, that doesn't mean that he's not thinking that. You know,
you'd have to ask him, but
okay.
I just don't see it as a.
But I'm asking
deal.
you because I'd like to know what you feel. Do you feel that you have been picked on because you're a green?
I don't. No. Like what I've been saying since the beginning is, again, this isn't a unique situation. LTP amendments happen all the time. We are a capital city. We have a lot of media attention. We have a lot of media interest. I would have been surprised if he chose not to put in an observer, to be honest.
So I want to go back to this, how we're feeling as a city, because I'm certainly feeling embarrassed because, I'm a very proud Wellingtonian that loves my city. And the fact that our council can't do the job that we voted them in for and has been enforced with an observer, I'm embarrassed. Do you not think a majority of Wellingtonians or a lot of Wellingtonians are feeling embarrassed?
I wouldn't. I would say some are, but not the majority.
Okay. We talked before briefly about how the council's now getting on better and putting their heads in. What happened with Liz Kelly and Diane Calvert last week? It's found its way into the Post and obviously everybody's talking about it. Can you tell us what actually happened? Yeah,
there was a very robust and heated disagreement regarding our social housing budget and project. And what I would say is, conversations like that, because our people are so passionate, happen around council table all the time. Like even when I've been chair, people have behaved quite assertively towards me. I've seen tears around the table. We've had councillors swear. And, this
isn't this unusual. Exactly what Simeon Brown's been talking about, though?
Possibly. And look, I think it's...
Can I just ask you one question about Liz Kelly? Because and I might have got this completely wrong. Does Liz Kelly actually live in Wellington?
No, she lives in Porirua, and she's a Ngāti Toa representative who are part of our Tākai Here.
Surely we would have a Ngāti Toa representative on our council that lives in Wellington.
Like often not, because Ngāti Toa are more based out in Porirua.
Well,
that's not unusual. So we have a tākaihere agreement.
I get that,
we
but
have to
surely there's got to be someone from that lives in Wellington that could represent Wellington better than someone who lives in Titahi Bay, to be exact. That should be perhaps on the Porirua City Council?
No, it's based on governance experience, and I think, again, this is an iwi delegation, so it's not for me to decide who they should be appointing.
So we could get someone from New Plymouth?
No, because Ngāti Toa isn't based in New Plymouth.
Okay, I think they are somewhere up there that way, aren't they, as well? 29 minutes, take a break, have some news headlines. 29 minutes to 11. You are on Wellington Mornings with Wellington Mayor Tory Whanau.
Sell us your Honda, Ronda, sell us your Ford, Lord, Eunice and Maxima, Dr. Opata, gives your Red Mahindra, Patrick and Belinda, Waikika Muko, Paikakariki, Hawea and Omaha, Gazzy Mitsubishi, Subaru Putaruru, with all the top and flags on it, spinning rims and spoiler kits, the one your auntie says look shit, you got so fat, the seats don't fit, your sister had a passion, there's still a Macca's bag in it, the cops are looking out for it, beep beep, sell us your car at Turners.
Ryman's holding walk-in Wednesdays throughout November. Come and experience the lifestyle that awaits. Discover their living options and the wonderful amenities on offer every Wednesday from 10 a.m. till 3 p.m. Search Ryman Events.
Versatile's Super Summer Sale is on now with up to 15% off all Kidset garages, farm buildings, sleepouts and carports. Hurry, November only. Visit versatile.co.nz to find out more. T's and C's apply.
That's Versatile.
Triton Hearing's new AI-powered hearing devices turn the volume down on background noise and clarify the sounds that matter with speech enhancement.
And I've heard she's got some fancy new job.
Wherever you are, get the goss, stay part of the story and be in on the joke with world-first devices and market-leading connectivity, far beyond existing hearing tech. Hear more with Triton Hearing. Give it a go. Call 0800 45 45 42.
If you're looking for a straighter smile, you'll find it with fast braces from Ashwin Megan Dental Surgery. You'll be amazed at how quickly you can turn things around with this tried and tested method used across the world for the last 30 years. Most fast braces patients are seeing great results from 6 to 9 months and are out of braces enjoying their new smile. For a straighter smile without breaking the bank, have a chat to Ashwin Megan Dental about fast braces. See ashwinmegandentalsurgery.co.nz.
Keeping the capital talking. Wellington Mornings with Nick Mills and Wellington Airport's valet parking. Closer, faster, easier. Drive up or book online. News Talk ZB. News Talk ZB headlines.
Get your yard sorted this spring with Maita 10 Mega Pitoni, Upper Hutt and Porirua. A historic apology to survivors of abuse in care is underway at Parliament. Lead Coordination Minister Erica Stanford has been addressing the event, saying many in attendance have waited a lifetime for today. The Wellington City Council's new Crown Observer is preparing for some difficult conversations, particularly in regard to clashing personalities. Fonterra is expected to receive global interest when it sells off some of its most well-known brands, which includes Anchor, Mainland Cheese and Carpety Ice Cream. And a missing elderly Porirua man has still not been found since yesterday. 77-year-old Graham Russell Smith was in fact last seen on Sunday evening. Today's weather, sunny and fine the rest of today, and the All Blacks struggle out of survival mode. Read Chris Ratchew's column at NZ Herald Premium. Nick.
News Talk ZB Wellington.